What's up, guys? I want you guys to kind of get a chance to come in. I had some interesting stuff that I saw just kind of like perusing the internet today. Um, anyway, I hope you guys are having a good day. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. Welcome to Dr. Boyce TV. This is kind of a place where I come to talk about financial news and kind of what's happening in the world. I'm about to head out of town in a few minutes, so I don't have a ton of time to spend online, but I thought I would just hop in and see who's around. Um, Give me 1 second. Make sure you hit the like button, share button, and subscribe button real quick, and we can get it cracking. 1 second here. Um, all right, there we go. Okay, I'd like to send a little note out, let everybody know to join us in these conversations. Yeah, so check it out. Okay, so I was talking to somebody, and I was kind of browsing through the internet, and and I saw this stuff with this brother that used to be on the Cosby Show, and I didn't know his name was Jeffrey something. Jeffrey, what's his brother's name? Jeffrey Owens, and apparently Jeffrey Owens has kind of, I don't know if he's fallen off. I don't know, what the deal is. I just know that this brother now, allegedly, apparently, according to somebody who spotted him, while they were out and about at Trader Joe's, they found him working as a cashier at Trader Joe's. Now, if you don't remember Jeffrey Owens played Elvin. Elvin was one of the characters on the Cosby Show who was married to Sandra, who was also iconic. She was the daughter of Bill Cosby's character. And this brother, and I'm gonna show you his picture. You're gonna actually kind of freak out when you see it. He's like a Trader Joe employee, and you just don't really expect that. But I'm gonna kind of give you the like lowdown on some of this stuff and kind of why you can't really buy into this entertainment bullshit the way they tell you to. The big challenge for Black people is that we're kind of taught to sort of believe that when you become an entertainer, everything's going to be wonderful, and it's just not like that all the time. So anyway, let me show you. So it says Cosby Show actor Jeffrey Owens spotted bagging groceries at New Jersey Trader Joe's. So here he is now, and you can see, back in the day, he's got all the crazy Cosby colors in his tie, and early 90s dress, looking young and sharp and rich and everything, and here he is now, kind of looking not as in shape as he used to be, looking kind of dingy. Just a little bit dingy, not overly dingy. Not that we're making fun of dingy people, but he's looking a little dingy right there. He's looking like he's had a hard day of work at Trader Joe's, and it's not what you expect, right? It's not what you expect from somebody who used to be on the Cosby Show. Now, what a lot of people don't know is, that there's kind of like this whole other dark side to all of this, to entertainment, to everything. I know a couple of people who either were on the Cosby Show or were affiliated with the Cosby Show. The people that I know from the Cosby Show were Joseph C. Phillips. Joseph C. Phillips played the husband of the other sister, not Vanessa, Denise. Remember Martin? He was in the Navy. Anyway, so Joseph C. Phillips became like a conservative commentator. And I'd seen him on a couple of shows on CNN, stuff like that. We'd appear on CNN together or whatever. And then there was the girl that played Vanessa, Tempest Bledsoe, who is an absolute sweetheart. I'm pretty good friends with her significant other. His name is his name's Daryl Bell, and he played Ron. He played Dwayne Wayne's best friend on A Different World. And I mean, just sweet people. I mean, I love Daryl, smart guy. I really vibe with him. He's one of the few people in Hollywood I really vibe with. I also vibe really well with Will Smith's brother, Harry. And I think that the reason we were able to connect is because they're both just smart people, and we have smart conversations. It's not superficial, dumb Hollywood shit. It's actually like meaningful stuff. Like these are guys that get meaning out of their lives. And so anyway, one of the things that I think a lot of people don't understand, and this is why I felt the need to kind of chime in on this whole issue, is a lot of people don't understand that entertainment ain't what it's cracked up to be. A lot of these entertainers are not doing as well as they'll lead you to think that they're doing. In a way, it's a little bit like rappers. You know how rappers are, they kind of always pretend to have more money than they actually have. Well, a lot of actors are in the same predicament, where you might have a guy who hasn't really had a hit show in 15 years, but every time he's out and about, he has to pretend like he's doing extremely well. He has to pretend like he's got all these opportunities. He has to pretend like he's got the big house in Malibu and he's driving the Ferrari and all this other stuff. And that's a hell of a lot of pretending, And so when I look at this brother who's on the Cosby Show, what's his name? Jeffrey Owens. He's working at Trader Joe's in New Jersey now, and looking kind of dingy, kind of fat, kind of kind of old. He's got the big gray beard. He's probably still a working actor. Like, in fact, I think I read somewhere where he's actually still getting acting gigs periodically, just not like he used to. And what I think a lot of people should also know about entertainment is that a lot of these gigs don't pay very much money. I was actually astonished when we were making movies out in LA. I was really astonished by how little you could pay to get, B-list, A-list actors. Like a lot of these actors, like between their movies, aren't making that much money. And what they're really kind of doing is they're, doing their best white man imitation and hoping that some white guy will come along and hire them and give them an opportunity. And if you want to know why I'm really, really big on teaching Black children entrepreneurship, it's because even our most esteemed entertainers that we worship, like we worship entertainers, like studies literally show that Black people worship entertainers more than they worship almost anybody else. That's why, so companies know this. That's why they say, well, look, if you want to sell a product to the African-American community, just have an entertainer endorse the product and they'll go buy it, because we think entertainers represent Black freedom. Well, let me just be clear. Entertainers do not represent Black freedom. Entertainers just represent a higher form of slavery. Not that they can't have good lives, not that they can't do well. One might do really well. The other 50, the other 100, the other 1,000 are not doing so well. They're doing okay. They're very nervous. They're very scared. They can't piss off white folks. They're afraid of being blackballed. They can't really be truly Black. If you go out to LA, you'll see a lot of Black people who just don't want to be Black. I was talking to Tierra KJ Williams. She goes by the name Miss Black Hollywood. She runs the Real Network out in LA. And she said that a lot of her, actor and actress colleagues didn't like the idea of her having an agency that catered to Black people, because they said, I don't want people to typecast me as a Black actress. I don't want to be seen as a Black actor. And I'm like, well, if you don't want to be seen as Black, well, your mama and daddy are Black. You're Black. That cop on the street's gonna see you as Black. Why would you not want to? What do you think you are? Do you think you are a unicorn? Do you think that you are a three-legged horse? Like, what the hell do you think you are? You're Black. You're Black. Stop acting like you ain't. Stop acting like that's a source of shame, first of all, and stop acting like you can run away from it. You can't not be Black. Like embrace it. That's all. That's the only choice you got. And so what happens is a lot of these actors go through life trying to be everything but Black. If you look at a lot of these, I was looking at Alfonso Ribeiro. I saw his ad. He's another guy that's on and off. He does all right sometimes. He gets a couple of gigs here and there, but he's another guy that it's not what's the word? It's not uncommon to see him like just sitting around doing nothing in LA. That's kind of what the impression I get from people I talk to, that it's not uncommon to see Alfonso Ribeiro like not having the busy schedule you think that an actor has, not having all the great gigs that you think that he would have, not having all these amazing opportunities. I'm not saying that he's destitute. I'm not saying he doesn't have stuff going on. I'm just saying that, it's not uncommon to see him like chilling in Jack in the Box, just eating a cheeseburger because he ain't got nothing to do. And you see this guy, look at him. He's got this white wife, this blonde, blue-eyed wife, and these little mixed kids. And it's crazy because I'm really utterly fascinated by how many Black people, I'm talking about Black sex symbols. I'm talking about Black men that Black women really love, like that they fantasize about them. They hug their pillow and dream about this guy. And this guy ain't even dreaming about you. He ain't even thinking about you. He's thinking about, he's thinking about Becky. He's in love with Becky, even though he can have access to the most gorgeous, most delicious, thickest, sexiest Black women on the earth. he up here dreaming about Becky with the stringy hair, whose hair smells like a dog when she gets wet. So I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. But I will honestly tell you, I think that some of these people in Hollywood, it's like, see, racism. Here's the thing about racism. What you got to understand is that racism is I believe racism is a mental illness. I think it's a mental illness created by white people that white people give each other, and it makes them do crazy stuff. I also believe racism, the mental illness of racism, causes mental illness in black people. In fact, if you look at a child who's trying to please a mentally ill parent, that child will develop a mental illness trying to please their mentally ill parent. Well, similar to the child who gets a mental illness trying to please a mentally ill parent, black people gain a mental illness trying to find a way to please mentally ill white people. Like, you find a way to buck dance a little better, you try to code switch a little smoother, you try to appease them, you engage in what I call the good Negro behavior protocol, where you think that if you are perfectly behaved and you do what they want you to do and you kiss up to them and you act like them and you assimilate properly, then you're going to be accepted. And at the end of the day, you're not. And then you go crazy. You're like, I did everything. I went to Duke University. I joined the white fraternity. I went to white public schools my whole life. I have a white wife and I still can't get the same opportunities as the white boy. And it's a lot of times it's just because you're not white. Like, you're just not white. You're just not. You're like the midget trying to play center for the Los Angeles Lakers. Like that's not your sport. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe your sport was football, but you're so desperately trying to be something that you're not meant to be, that you become very bad at it. You're not the best at it. You can't be the best at being a white man. Like, if you're a black man, God made you a black man, you can't be a better white man than white men already are. So at best, you will be a brown-faced, cheap substitute for the real thing. Like you are, like they want, people want Coca-Cola, you're like Diet Coke. You're like, people want Barack Obama, you're Bill Clinton. Like you'll never be like the best at being at whatever it is you're trying to do, because you're trying to be something that you're not. So what I really think is, and again, I'm not trying to say that this brother who's working at Trader Joe's, if that's what he's going through. I don't even know this guy, Jeffrey, what's his face? Jeffrey, I forget, when they said his name, I didn't know. Jeffrey Owens, who used to be on the Cosby Show, the guy who's working at Trader Joe's now. I'll show the picture for everybody who just came in. It's really kind of fascinating. This guy, poor guy's gained a lot of weight. He's looking, he's almost 60, and it kind of lets you know it ain't 1992 no more. That's for damn sure. So some of y'all on Instagram, here you go, you can see it. And it's just really, it kind of made me think to, I guess, especially in light of the fact that I was watching Aretha Franklin's funeral, and everybody's so fascinated by this, everybody's mesmerized by this celebrity, not the celebrity of Aretha. Aretha was a great singer. Aretha was amazing. But remember, Aretha Franklin was given to you by white people. If a white man had never signed Aretha Franklin, chances are you might not know who she is. The only exception would have been if Motown and Berry Gordy had picked her up. But remember, there was 1,000 Aretha Franklins that applied for those, very limited number of slots. So Aretha was the one who got the opportunity because a white person gave her the opportunity. It doesn't mean she's not talented, doesn't mean she's not great, doesn't mean she's not the queen of soul, but it does mean that you have to really sort of think carefully as black people about the danger of worshiping entertainers. Because if I'm a white man and I know that you worship entertainers, then all I got to do is pick the right black people to put in front of you so I can change your whole culture and change your whole community. So everything that we think is black culture really isn't black culture. It's actually a variant. It's some kind of black culture that was given to you by white folks. White folks decide which Negroes get on TV. White folks decide which Negroes are going to be in front of you. If there is a black person who is truly good for you, if there's a black person who truly has your best interest at heart, if there's a black person who's truly fighting for you, they're not going to put that person in front of you. No different from Colin Kaepernick. And you pay attention, when Colin Kaepernick started protesting whiteness and racism, what did they do? They said, we're going to take this nigga off TV because we don't need him inspiring millions of black people to stand up against white supremacy. The black people we put on TV need to be the Negroes who will endorse and embrace white supremacy. So Stephen A. Smith, we want to give you a raise and a bonus and put you on television every single day because we need somebody to help us fight against this whole insurgency of black people that are speaking up against the things that we've been doing to them all these years. So again, it's no disrespect to Stephen. It's no disrespect to any entertainer that you love. It's just, you got to realize that there's a difference there. The other thing too is that most entertainers are not truly empowered. because they are simply a product. An entertainer is a product. An entertainer is it's like a horse. You know, if you have a jockey that's riding a horse, the entertainers are the horse. Some white man's riding the entertainer in order to get rich. The entertainer is the horse, which is the product that's being put out to the public for people to embrace and to pay for, and for money to kind of come in. Most entertainers, there's a few exceptions, most entertainers are not powered, especially if they don't understand business. If they do not understand business and do not understand money, then they're not empowered. So what happens in Hollywood is you might see somebody like this guy, George, what's his face? Jeffrey Owens, who played Elvin on the Cosby Show, who's now working at Trader Joe's. You'll see him on the Cosby Show, and somebody, I guarantee you that when he was on the Cosby Show, he probably had friends back in the hood that were saying, "Oh man, you made it! He made it! It was his dream. He's been dreaming since he was a little boy, and we just knew one day, Lord Jesus was gonna bless him, and he was gonna get that opportunity. And now look at him; he's on the Cosby Show. You have made it." Right? No different from like the moms that are crying when their son gets signed to the NFL contract, not knowing that the average NFL career is about 2 years long, not knowing that, you know, that your son might get a chance to be the next, you know, Terrell Owens or whatever it is, next NFL superstar, but they also have a chance of being a 25-year-old drug addict, reject from the NFL with a fifth grade reading level. Right? That's what they also don't talk about. Brain damage too. Let's not forget the brain damage, right? So a lot of people think that, see, the thing is, the reason that we don't fulfill a lot of our dreams is because as Black people, a lot of times we have the wrong dream in the first place. You know, our dream that we have is usually a dream that's created by white people, right? It's like my dream is to live in a house, and somebody says, "Oh, I own a house, come live with me." And you say, "Oh my God, it's always been my dream to have my own house." You don't have your own house. You have a room in someone else's house. That's a very different thing. That's not the same as owning a house, building a house, buying a house, and really deciding what's going to happen in that house. So what happens is you move into the house and you're like, "Oh my God, Lord Jesus, thank you, Jesus. I've been dreaming my whole life for this opportunity, and now I got my own house. Look at me, y'all. Selfies in front of the mansion, y'all. Selfies," right? And everybody's sitting back in the hood like, "Oh, she made it. Oh my God, you made it. Oh Lord, you made it," right? And then one day you piss off Massa. One day, you know, you say something Massa doesn't like, and they say, "Oh, you think you actually have rank here? You actually think that you get to decide what's going to happen in this house? Oh no, we're going to boot your Black ass out in the street." And then they boot you out in the street, and then that person who had the big house is now homeless, just like everybody else. And so the analogy is, the Cosby Show was a big house. You know, the Cosby Show is a big house, but that house was owned by NBC. There ain't no piece of the Cosby Show that's owned by hardly any Black people, except maybe Bill Cosby, who might own a percentage. You see, a different world, big platform, big house, wonderful show. Everybody loved it, but that's not owned by Black people. Do you know that a different world can never get back on TV again without a white man's permission? In fact, we couldn't even do a different world on YouTube. I know some of the actors from a different world. If I got them together and said, "Let's do a whole different world part 2, and we're going to put it on YouTube," do you know that those white folks would sue us before you could say the word dumbass nigga? Do you know that? Do you know that Whitley from A Different World, Jasmine Guy, cannot even imitate the voice of Whitley? Remember how Whitley used to be like, "Hey, y'all, Dwayne." Do you know that she can't even go in public and use that voice without potentially being sued for copyright violations? Did you know that? So what you got to understand is that because in your culture, because there is no understanding, there is no cultural proclivity toward ownership, that basically what you're doing is you're living on borrowed power. You're basically borrowing everything that you live off of. No differently from when Donald Trump was $1 billion in debt. He had $1 billion, but it wasn't his money, right? So what I'm trying to say to you at the end of the day is, you got to think about ownership, and you got to teach that to your children. Your children don't need to learn how to be employees. Here are things you should not do with Black children anymore in the 21st century. Number one, stop sending them to white people for an education. White people will never educate your Black child to do anything other than to be a white person. They can't teach your child to be Black. They can only teach them to be a better white man. So We should stop educating, letting white people educate our kids. Like, but of course, that's probably 50 years ahead of its time. That suggestion. Some of y'all are already doing it. A lot of y'all like, well, wait a minute, how can I take my child out of the public school? Well, you can do it. You just take them out and send them to a black school. You know, we have a website set up. It's teachourownchildren.com. Teachourownchildren.com. If you go to teachourownchildren.com, we have an interactive map that's set up that literally shows an interactive setup of all the black schools that exist all around the United States. Like literally, it's like a pop-up map. It's the most beautiful thing. Cheryl Irvin from the new Alcobalon School down in Florida helped us put this together. And so on this map on teachourownchildren.com, you literally can go through. If you live in a certain state, you can. Illinois has a ton of them, and a little click icon pops up to tell you all about the school. California, there's a few here. There's a bunch in Georgia. There's a bunch in Texas. Now, some of the states ain't got no black schools, so y'all might have to do some more research or build one or something. But at the end of the day, like there are black schools you can send your kids to. Like let's just be clear about that. Also, education isn't something that just happens in a building. It's not something that just happens at a white university. Education is something that can happen on the internet. It's something that can happen in your home. It's not the white lady's job to make sure your black child is educated. That is your job. They are never going to give your child enough to come back and fight them. I personally, would you ever educate somebody well enough to take away your power? Would you ever teach somebody how to steal your thunder? Ladies, would you teach a man, or would you teach a woman how to come in and steal your man? No, you wouldn't. Fellas, would you teach another man how to woo your woman into the bedroom? No, you would not. So the white man will never teach your child how to come in and steal all his wealth and all his power. He's not going to do it. I wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it. So don't think they're ever going to do it. So number one, stop sending your kids to white folks to be educated. Number two, stop training them to go beg for jobs from white people. That's a losing strategy. Millions of black people are very stressed out because they work for racists. And if they don't get a chance to work for a racist, they end up unemployed by the racist. So they're begging the racist to give them a job so they can get more abuse. So think about this. You're either sitting at home and you don't, either without the privilege of going to work and being abused every day, or in best case scenario, you're going to work and being abused every day. Like that's not a winning strategy. That's kind of like saying the best thing that can ever happen to you is that you can grow to be 4 feet tall. Like that's not very tall, right? You know, like that, you need a better dream. So that's the second thing. The third thing is we got to be cautious about the universities taking all of our money. You know, when you're giving all this money to white universities, they're leaving you in debt for life. What's another thing that we do that we got to really reconsider? There are a couple other things, and I'll get to them later. I got to go. We're about to hit the road. But I just wanted to kind of share this. You know, when I see a black actor kind of, you know, in a bad situation like that, or in a situation where you're like, this is so different from what we expect when we think somebody's made it, it reminds me of how many of us live the wrong dream. The wrong dreams are, I want to get a great job working for some white guy. That's not a good dream. The other wrong dream is, I want to go to Hollywood and be on somebody's TV show. That's not the right dream. The right dreams tend to be wealth and ownership and power. That comes through stock investing, real estate, and entrepreneurship. Those are things that children should be learning, because when kids know how to do those things, then they can fill in the blanks and figure out how to do everything else. Like, for example, if you own a movie production company, then you can make yourself a movie star if you want to. You just have to figure out how to handle the financing aspect of it all and all that stuff, right? If you own a business, you can make yourself the CEO. You can be a boss if you want to. No one has to make you a boss. You can create jobs for other people. Also, the other thing too is that Hollywood studios that are owned by whites and Jews can only afford to hire so many black people. They can't help the entire black community. They can't help 40 million black people, but they can help maybe 5,000, right? So what they'll do is they'll help a small percentage, and then the other 40 million are outside banging on the door, hoping that they can get in, hoping that we can get an opportunity. And then even those among the 5,000 are walking pins and needles saying, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, if I piss off this white man, then he's going to blackball me and I'll never have another opportunity again. Well, why won't you have an opportunity? You won't have an opportunity because nobody ever taught you that opportunities are not given. Opportunities are created. Opportunities can be given, but they're mostly is better when you know how to create them. Just like food isn't always just fed. Food is grown, food is cooked, food is hunted for, food is cultivated, right? So there's many, many ways to get food other than just sitting there waiting with your mouth open, begging master to feed you. And he usually ain't gonna put food in your mouth. If he puts food in your mouth, it ain't gonna be healthy food. He might put his penis in your mouth, because at the end of the day, you're not even able to decide what you're going to eat. He eats what you you eat what he decides he's going to feed you. And that's what I'm saying to you, is that Black people, we consume what is fed to us. We turn the TV, we absorb whatever they put in front of us. We listen to the radio, we're absorbing whatever they're putting out there for us. We go send our kids to school, they're absorbing whatever nonsense they're being taught at school, right? So we got to stop that. You must be deliberate about what you consume, what you're learning, what entertainment you're consuming, what music you're consuming, and how you go about, paying your bills and living your life. So I'm not on this entertainment boat. I could care less about a Negro getting a job on TV. That don't mean nothing to me. I don't think integration is the solution for Black people. The evidence shows that Black people as a collective have not benefited from integration. My belief is that Black people will only benefit when we as a community have thousands and thousands of families that are teaching thousands and thousands of children how to develop institutions and how to build companies for the future. That's my 2 cents. That's all I got to say. I'm about to roll out. If you want your child, we do actually have programs on entrepreneurship for children in the Black Business School. Feel free to check it out. You can go to blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com, blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. These are the Black millionaires of the next 30, 40 years. These are kids that are going to be positioned strategically to learn everything they need to know to guarantee that this child will be a millionaire by the age of 30. It's very easy to do. My niece is about to be born. We already have a millionaire plan for her. We know it's going to work because Uncle Boyce already did all the mathematics. So this baby ain't going to have to worry about nothing. I will teach you everything that I do with my niece, because millionaires and leaders are not born. Millionaires and leaders are built. So feel free to check it out. The first month is actually free. If you want to give it a 30-day trial, you can go to blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. I'm out here, guys. Have a good day. I'll see you soon.